Hello, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting. Just got a couple of things that I want to show you today before I get on with the project to show you, and that's a couple of the new DSPs that have recently arrived, i.e. this morning, on my doorstep. Me and a couple of other demonstrators have got involved with a paper share, so between us we have bought all of the new DSPs, and we've then just shared that out between us. And a couple of my other videos you would have seen some other DSPs that I've got, but I wanted to show you this. This is lovely, and often the DSP in the catalogue, the photographs just don't do it justice at all. You've got to get your hands on it, and this is lovely. This is the See a Silhouette DSP, and the colours on this are just so vibrant, absolutely vibrant. They're beautiful, but some of them are quite abstract. I love that. It's just lovely, beautiful, bright colours, but also not too feminine. I think Stampin' Up have done extremely well in this catalogue into bringing us lots of gender neutral products for us to look at. I just think they're lovely, just absolutely lovely. There's a stamp that goes with this as well. I don't have that stamp. It was on my shopping list, but it kind of, if I'd put it in my shopping basket, it would have taken me over my budget for the month, so I didn't get it. I love that. This is what's on the other side. Lots of lovely dark colours on there as well. Look at that blue. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Sorry. Isn't it lovely? So I'm going to be using that today in one of my projects. Great for background, to give a better background than perhaps having a plain piece of cardstock. You could use some DSP, and it matches my nail varnish. The other thing that I want to show you is Noble Peacock. So we've shared this as well, and I have received some 6x12 pieces of this. Look at the shine on that. You can see my lamp being reflected in that. So lovely green. They're blank on the back. That stunning. Goes beautifully with my nail varnish. Aren't they gorgeous? Very, very special project for these. They're very thick. They've got the weight of card really. And that beautiful colour. Absolutely beautiful colour. And I think probably what I want to make with these is perhaps some boxes, some really plush boxes to put lovely presents in. So that's Noble Peacock. So I'm going to be using today the See a Silhouette, and I have joined in a sketch challenge on one of my fellow demonstrators group pages, and I'm going to have a go at that, and I'm going to create a lovely card. So here are the bits that I'm going to use. So I've got my usual measurements for a card base. So I've got a piece of Whisper White here, only because we've got white in there. Could be very vanilla, but I think that's white. Yeah, that's white. So that measures 8 1/4 by 5 5/8. I have scored down the middle at 4 1/8, and then when the card is finished, I'll fold it in half. So that makes my card base 4 1/8 by 5 7/8. I've then got a piece of Knight of Navy card, and that measures 4 inches by 5 3/4. And I've got my little things off my dimensionals all over the place. So yeah, 4 inches by 5 3/4, and that's going to sit on there like that. So I'll glue that in a minute and sit that on there. I've then got a piece of, this is one of the See a Silhouette DSP, and that measures, I can't remember, 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. So 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And then what I've done using the Detail Trio punch is then rounded just this corner and this corner. Okay, just those opposite corners. I've kept those corners intact. I think cards look quite nice when you've done that. I've done that on some other cards before. I've had a narrower strip and just rounded off the top and the bottom diagonal corners. So that's going to sit in there like that. So I'm going to get my glue and oh, sorry, I was just making sure some glue was coming out the end of it. So I don't know why I did that. I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. I'll try and concentrate. Mine's wandering. So glue on the back of that, and without getting my fingers covered in glue, I'm going to stick that on there like that, and just while it's still wet, just maneuver that into position and press that down. And then I'm going to stick that blue cardstock onto my card base. Don't have to use wet glue, you could use anything for this, tear and tape, snail, but the thing with wet glue is that you've just got room to reposition while the glue is still wet. The great thing about this DSP, and a lot of the DSPs in this season's catalogue, is that you can just use that as a card by itself, you know, put a sentiment on there, job done. But what I'm doing is following this sketch challenge. So the other thing that was on this sketch challenge was something to go across the middle. So I got some white ribbon for that, and I'm going to sit that on there. So I do need to put a little bit of glue on that just to sit it into position. I am going to put a circle over the top, which you'll see in a minute, but I do need to make sure that that glue sits in position. Just make sure that that is central and horizontal. So I'll just let that dry off a bit. I'm just going to put that to one side. So I got my 2 1/4 circle punch and my 2-inch circle punch. With the 2 1/4, I cut out some circles, which I've put down somewhere. There we are. So with the 2 1/4 circle punch, I've used Night of Navy, and that's going to sit on there like that. And with the 2-inch circle punch, I've cut out a Whisper White circle, and I have used the Itty Bitty Birthdays stamp set. And sorry, the camera's gone a bit funny there, and I've used this Happy Birthday sentiment. So I've just stamped that on there in Night of Navy. So I'm going to get my dimensionals. I'm going to put 2 on the back of this. Suddenly there is too much light in here. The sun has come out and it's making my light go funny, and the light still doesn't look right. Goodness, sorry. Might just have to put up with that. So I'm just going to take the backing off of those. And I'm just going to stick that on there like that. And then that is going to sit on there, and again I'm going to use dimensionals, and I'm going to use 4, which is unlike me to use 4. People who regularly watch me will think 4? She only ever puts 2, but I'm going to use 4. I'm going to start pushing the boat out a bit, using a few more dimensionals than I would normally. And I'm just going to sit that in the centre of that ribbon and in the centre of the card. So the next thing I did, the other thing that was on this sketch challenge, and what I'll do on my blog, I'll show you the sketch that I was following. It has some flowers and some leaves coming off of that. Now I don't have any punches for flowers, and I tend not to use dies, so I stamped out onto some Whisper White using the Butterfly Gala stamp set, and I just stamped out a couple 4 of these small butterflies and punched them out using the butterfly punch. So I've got 4 of them. And then I got some green vellum. So this comes out of the Perennial, that's everything falling on the floor. Using the Perennial Essence vellum. So I've got this, and I've cut out 4 leaf shapes using the leaf punch. So I've got that leaf punch there. Now what I'm going to do, I need to get some leaves on here, like that. I want to put some leaves here, like that, and then stick some butterflies on the top and hope that it all sticks down. So I'm really getting down to the last of my glue in this bottle. So I'm going to stick one on there, and I'm going to hope for the best that this, I'll get that on top of there like that. So I've got that one there. And then this one, where am I going to put that? Just, oh, I don't know. And it's all still wet and moving about. I think I'm going to put another one there and just stick that underneath it. Actually, I'm going to put that on a dimensional. It's far easier to use. And so I put a dimensional on the back of that, taking the back off, and I'm just going to lift these wings up a little bit, just to give it a little bit more interest. And I'm going to put that one on there, like that. And then I'm going to do the same with this one with some glue, so I can stick down those leaves. Like that. Try not to cover up my happy birthday sentiment. That should hold down my leaves. And then just bend the wings a little on that. And put a dimension on the back of that, backing off. And I'm going to put that one on there like that. So those butterflies have stopped moving about now. That's good. So there is my card. So now that that's dried off, I'm just going to fold my card. I'm going to reaching over there, get my bone folder and just fold that down. And there we have the finished card. And that goes exactly what the Sketch Challenge wanted us to do, but the only thing I did differently was put some butterflies on there instead of the flowers that was originally suggested. Now the other thing I want to show you is the Delightful Day stamp set, because I absolutely love this sentiment that's in here. Great for a card. So I'm going to get that loaded up onto an ink block. What's that on there? Let's get rid of that. Don't know where that's come from. So this is a photopolymer stamp set, which I always prefer because you can see where you're stamping. So I'm going to open up my card and I'm going to stamp that sentiment right in the middle of there. So I'm going to do that using Night of Navy ink. I can always rely on Night of Navy ink. It stamps, for me, always stamps perfectly. So I've not used this before. I'm just going to test it over here. Perfect. So load up my ink. Now the key to this is getting it straight. So line that up, get that blob of ink off there. Line it up, and you just need a brave moment to stamp it down. Oh, we'll ignore that little bit of ink that's transferred onto there. We'll ignore that. So there we have the middle. I'm not going to fold that properly over just yet because it will transfer. And there's our card. So thank you very much to Trisha Smith for the sketch challenge on her group page. And that's my entry for that. There'll be a blog post for this. You'll see that in the description bar below. Please come and subscribe to my channel. I'm heading towards the 500 subscribers milestone, so if you can help to that, I would be extremely grateful. And I'll be along soon with another video using some more beautiful DSP very, very soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye.